Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man walah. Salamullahi alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, welcome to this week's Friday Naseeha from Productive Muslim. The episode today is about managing expectations. There are two types of expectations we have in life. We have internal expectations and external expectations. I'll explain these two in a minute. But there's always this fight between these two. There's always this battle between the internal expectations, what we expect from ourselves, and versus external expectation, what others expect from us. So first of all, what are the examples of internal expectations? We have tasks you want to complete. It could be personal tasks, could be work-related tasks, could be any task you want to yourself to complete. Goals you want to achieve. You have certain goals for yourself, maybe achieving a degree, maybe achieving a PhD, maybe achieving some kind of a goal in life, maybe setting up some kind of charity organization. These are goals you want to achieve. It can be knowledge you want to gain. Maybe you want to memorize the Quran, or memorize books of hadith, or learn tafsir. These are all internal expectations. Maybe it's about increasing your iman. You have internal expectations from yourself that you want to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who doesn't have these expectations? We all do, and we all want to achieve that. Improving your health, maybe getting fit and getting strong. All these things are internal expectations, and there are many more. Basically, it's anything that you want to achieve. It's within your personal domain that you have set for yourself and you want to achieve. Now, this is normally in almost like a battlefield with external expectations, what others expect from you. And by others I mean your family, your friends, work, the Muslim community, and even the ummah at large. They have certain expectations of you as an individual. So the question is, how do you achieve internal expectations given your external expectations? So normally the way people phrase this question is, Brother Muhammad, I really want to learn the Quran, but I've got family, I've got business, I've got this, I've got that, so therefore I can't. So they blame them not achieving the internal expectations upon external factors. And today I want to say to you that that is a myth. I want to say to you that you can manage external expectations given certain conditions for your internal expectations. So first of all, let us validate your internal expectations. Do you really want to memorize the Quran? You say you want to, but do you really? And the way to find out, in the three characteristics of a valid internal expectation is, number one, is sincere. It's you are adamant, you're sincere, you're doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're not doing it for yourself, you're not doing it for any other person. It's really sincere, it's solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second, it's solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not for others. It's not for you to show off. It's not for you to say, oh, look at me, I'm a hafiz, or look at me, I have achieved this degree. It's for you, you're doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And thirdly, you have the discipline to fulfill this internal expectations. You have that strong discipline to say to yourself, I will achieve this through thick and thin. If you do not have that discipline to wake up early so they can memorize some Quran, or to stay up late so you can study, or to go out and from your home to go serve the community just like the goals you want to according to the goals you want to achieve, then if you don't have that discipline, then your internal expectations are invalid. There are things you're procrastinating basically, and you're not being productive. So really, first of all, validate your internal expectations. Make sure they have these three characteristics, and if they do, then the external expectations become no problem at all. So how do you manage external expectations? How do you manage the constant input from others, the constant expectation and pressure from others, and that they want you to fulfill for them? The first step is to communicate your internal expectations. Let people know about your goals. Let people know that what you want to achieve. A lot of times we keep it to ourselves. We almost keep it secret. Communicate so that they understand why you're busy, so they understand why you cannot be with them all the time, so that they can understand why they find it difficult to get you at times. So communicate what are your internal expectations, what are your goals, what are the things you're trying to achieve, so they appreciate that you are truly trying to develop yourself, and they will give you some space for that. That's number one. Number two is be proactive. What does that mean? What I mean is, don't wait for others to impose upon you the expectations, but you quickly go and impose expectations upon them. So for example, let's say you have a very busy schedule during the week, but what you do is you schedule time in for your family in that week. So you proactively go to your family and say, hey, how does Monday night sound to you, to all of you? You want to go out on Monday night, for example? So that means you are proactively managing the expectations, so they know that Monday night will be the night that you will be spending time with your family. Or for you to say, for example, it's very difficult for me to do this now, but how about we do this later? So you be proactive and don't simply be passive in expecting and in trying to work with others' expectations. Schedule them in. This is the example I gave before. When you plan your calendar for the week, make sure you schedule time in for family. We schedule time for meetings, we schedule time for friends, we forget our family, we forget all the other sources of expectation. Schedule time to do work for the ummah, schedule time to do work for the community, schedule time to give da'wahs, schedule time in. If you're really that busy, do schedule them in. Otherwise, two things will happen if you don't schedule. Time will go to waste when you have time, and secondly, when you don't have time, you won't know how to manage yourself to be able to basically please everybody. Now, keep a tab on all areas. What does that mean? Again, look into the different sources of external expectations: your family, your friends, your work, your the community, the ummah, and say, am I fulfilling my best in all these areas? So am I really fulfilling my best? Am I managing them properly, or am I just shutting myself off completely, or giving myself off freely that I don't have time for my own internal expectations? What am I doing? And finally, constantly evaluate yourself. Constantly look into yourself and almost rate yourself. How am I with my family? How am I with my friends? How am I with my work? How am I with my with working with the Muslim community? And if you find an area which you're weak in, then start putting some pressure on yourself to focus on that for a while. And that is how you achieve the productivity in a way, because you're managing both internal and external expectations, and you're being an all-rounded person who can basically balance between all these expectations. The most amazing example of a man who managed his internal and external expectations was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The way he was able to be a father and a husband and a politician and a general of an army, all these, he was able to manage all these expectations and was able to fulfill them above and top of his own internal expectations of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and being close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is an example of how those two expectations were not in collision, but they were together. So I will actually urge you to try to get the Taskinator from Productive Muslim. This one allows you to focus on the different areas that I've spoken about and see, am I doing enough tasks each day to fulfill the different areas of my life? You can get the Taskinator from productivemuslim.com/the Taskinator. Finally, I just want to remind you all once more about the YouTube competition. You got 7 days left. 7 days left to submit a YouTube competition, a YouTube video on Productive Muslim, about the unproductive Muslim and related to Productive Muslim. I'm really looking forward to all your entries. The deadline is the 15th of January 2010. Jazakumullah khair, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.